Hi, I'm Steve Poulos, and welcome to another edition of Producer Showcase. Today is kind of an interesting show. It's about a sad moment in the history of Benifit, I think, for sure. But it's also in celebration of this particular moment, and that is the passing of Kathy Duke, who, as many of you have tuned into this show over the past, I don't know, probably 10 years, you've seen Kathy on the show at various times, especially around the holidays. She was with the Stone Soup Food Pantry, so she was always up in front of the camera, trying to get help and support from the community, which she was always successful. I mean, she's the type of person that, people grew to love and understood that she was there for one reason only, and that was to help people that were less fortunate than some other people in the city. Anyway, now that I've totally bundled that hole open, let me introduce some of the folks that are on the show today. We're here about an act of love. It's a variety festival, and it's actually in celebration of Kathy Duke and the Stone Soup Food Pantry. And first, let me introduce a couple of folks that actually are responsible for this whole thing, and it was a lot of work. Let me tell you, whenever you do something like this, it's a tremendous amount of work. You don't think so when you start, but as you get into it, you understand all the pieces that you have to pull together to make it happen, and they've done it. First, let me introduce Stella and Fausto. As many that have tuned in over the years, Fausto, they've seen you on a number of shows here for various reasons. Is the Blue Elephant the name of your company in Pepperell Square still?
We're still in Pepperell Square in Saco.
Awesome. And so if anybody needs somebody for catering and a whole bunch of other things, I guess you kind of pull all the pieces together for them. And Estella, you're with the Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
And I understand you run things over there, basically.
No, not I.
No,
but I am the Member Services Coordinator.
Well, if anybody knows you, they know you run a tight ship over there. I know just when you visit here, you do. No, you're part of things. You actually are very good at it. That's why you're there with Greg Pendleton and a great crew over there. And last but not least, I want to introduce Nicolette. Now, Nicolette, actually, is it almost 10 years ago?
Yes.
Maybe 9 years ago, was actually at the studio here with a couple of other young ladies, and you were singing, you were helping out, and now you're back. We're not letting you leave this time.
Okay.
You're stuck. You're going to actually be doing photography for Estella and Fausto in this whole presentation, which is fabulous.
I think so.
That's excellent. We're going to talk to you a little bit more when we get going in this. Estella, first I'm just going to ask you, what was the driving force behind this? I mean, I know, but I'd like you to explain to the public.
Well, I knew Kathy Duke through the Chamber of Commerce. She always made it a point to be a member for Stone Soup, and you couldn't help but love her. She would come in, she would give everybody a hug. She gave me a hug all the time. I was in awe of her. I really just thought she was amazing. What she did out of her heart, and it just seemed that all the events, everything that I was putting together, everything was trivial next to what she did. And this is why this all began. It was an act of love. It was through her. She inspired me to do something outside of the box for me, and Fausto jumped in, and we were actually, initially it all started where he was going to cater. We were going to have a reception and just show her how much we loved her. And it was going to be a fundraiser for Stone Soup. Mm-hmm. And now, things changed. Right. So we just want to make it a huge event.
Now, when you talk about, if anybody met Kathy, you could tell right away that she was genuine. But if you had any doubt in your mind, if you had seen Kathy the last couple of months of her life, she was still out there hitting the streets, working, and we knew in here that she was very ill. You could tell, but she would never talk about it. It was like, nope, I don't have time for that. And she was still out there doing all this fantastic work in the community, which, boy, it tells you something about the type of person that she was.
Right until the end.
Yeah.
And I was there for her memorial on Saturday, and I have to say, everybody, all the words, there was laughter, there was joy, there were tears, but everyone marveled at her life, and that was what it was about. I mean,
It's amazing, and that's, I will tell you, we were talking beforehand, before the show started, and of course we were kind of laughing in here, and it's not like we're all crazy or anything. Well, at least 3 of us are. This young lady isn't, but she tells me she just hides it well. But you know, at first you think, well, it is kind of a somber thing as well, but really, that's not the type of person that she was. And which is why I'm glad to see that you actually have some comedy acts in here. You have music. I mean,
we did, everything is in there. I mean, we have Southern rock, we have a little hardcore, we have folk, we have everything. Comedy. Alan will be speaking on behalf of Kathy.
the mayor.
Yes, the mayor. We asked him. He's going to come and speak on her behalf, as will Jody Bisonet, who is director of the York County Food Rescue. And then the show will begin. We have all sorts of, we have Dean Ford, who's doing acoustics, Fifth Freedom. I mean, they all jumped in. Just everyone is donating their time, as is Nicolette, all of us.
That's fabulous. Delilah.
Delilah.
What a
Delilah.
wonderful person.
We also have someone that will be handling the back, all the technical stuff. He couldn't be here today. Northeast Booking, and it's Jacob Simcock. He is going to do a tremendous job. Without him, I don't think the bands could play. He's even bringing his PA system, and everything's going to be run through the back. I mean, this is going to be a huge
I have done this
production.
many times over the years, and I know the type of work, and there's always something that you couldn't possibly plan on.
We don't want to forget Joe Janender,
From At Your Service.
who's going to
It's
film
video.
Yep.
place,
production. He'll be filming everything.
yeah. Awesome.
And I think you might come along, maybe do
Oh,
a
I will
little,
definitely
maybe?
be there.
Do a little
I think
back
I'll put a little camera on my head and walk around behind the scenes. And
behind the scenes. So, I mean, we want this to be something that everybody can look back on. And, you know, both with tears and happiness. People's Choice Credit Union is setting up a table in the front. They will be collecting all of the
And
donations
donations, money donations.
and tallying up the money. So midway, before we start the second set after the break, we'll know how much we raised. And Fausto and I are hitting the streets ourselves.
So expect a knock from
that
both
we
of
should
us.
definitely have a camera going on. And I understand you'll be doing photography, so maybe we'll
Yes.
have to have you do that and follow them around, harassing.
I'm definitely going behind the scenes with everything too.
That's good. That's a job though and a half, I think.
I can keep up.
Well, good.
And Estelle has put on most of this herself, and you have to give her a lot of credit because she's very passionate about it. And I
Absolutely.
think that Kathy would have loved that because, you know, without Estelle coming up with this idea, and I remember it was back in December, I was doing the tree at the chamber, and Estelle had asked me if I would help her, and I said, yeah, I'll help you, and I sort of kind of just said, yes, I would, but really Estelle put it all together, and if it wasn't for her, you know, she's got the posters rocking, she's asked the acts to come forward. Estelle has really moved heaven and earth to put this together, and I really wanted to see it go for as well as Kathy Duke's foundation, but as also for Estelle, because I think, you know, Kathy would be very happy that you put this together for her.
She knew we were doing it, and that's the wonderful thing. I mean, this began in October, and it was just, you know, different stages. I think each poster that evolved.
Yeah.
It started with sponsors, reception, after, following, you know, giving our love and showing our support, and just it evolved.
Well, and you can see it's kind of far-reaching. Dennis Fogg is a comedian. That you have Dennis and Tim Sivney. Of course, Tim Sivney is a fire in Benifit, and so he's well known, and
Right.
he's a comedian. Dennis Fogg does not live in town and everything. He actually does a show here now on the station, but he's a comedian with the Comedy Connection. He always did things with the Comedy Connection and does all the way up the East Coast. I mean, he's fabulous, and so that kind of shows the reach that you have, because he's not from this area,
Yep.
and yet you got him in
The
here.
same with
and-
Dean Ford. We're ecstatic. Jacob Simcock actually got him aboard. And Fifth Freedom, I spoke with Alan. He works at Guitar Center. They had just put out their CD, sold out at Bull Moose. I said, listen, I'm putting a show together. They were my second act. Crisis AD, of course, two of my sons are on it.
Yeah.
It's a little nepotism there.
Well,
But,
yeah, but
good nepotism. I mean, they were.
Topaz, great
and
kid, been
piano,
here
right.
helping out at the studio for.
Yep.
for a long time, so.
They jumped on board immediately, and it was just something, you know, an entire variety show. I mean, there's everything you want to see is there.
Now, one big question: do you envision this as an annual thing, or?
It would be nice, and this is why I wanted to capture it with Nicolette doing the photography exclusively. I asked her, she even took off of work, and, you know, her photography is beautiful, and Fausto and I, who knows?
How far we can take it.
Yeah,
So-
maybe
That's
next
awesome.
year.
That's such
You
a
set a
great-
goal and you hope for that goal to reach better every year, year after year. And I think one of the things that we're asking everyone, that when they do come, that they actually bring in, you know, if you're at the grocery store, pick up a couple of extra cans, even if they're on sale, and just start a little bag, and on the 21st, bring that bag and donate it at the door. And so it'll be a quick way to fill the shelves, and also show Kathy that you appreciated everything she's done over the years for the pantry. And so you can sort of kind of keep that momentum going.
That's awesome.
And $5 to get you in the door is not a bad price. So an evening of entertainment and getting your photograph and video is actually pretty good. And you're going to see a lot of acts that, you know, will maybe win Grammys in the years to come that you don't know, you know.
Hey, and it's a fabulous place
Oh,
to have
the
it
City
right there
Theater
at
is
City
beautiful.
Theater. It's like, you know, really for a small town, it doesn't get better than that. I mean, those are the things they create, that look in movies and stuff. And here we have a place like that. I think it's very,
It's a beautiful space.
Yeah,
It really does. It
absolutely.
lends itself well to this, and I think it'll be beautiful. It'll be an exciting venue to actually hold this, and I think the acts will be really good. And the way Estelle has put it all together, where they're going to be coming out in different segments. I think we're starting off with the comedy part, and then going to the folk.
Actually acoustic.
It's Delilah?
We decided with Delilah. She will
Nice.
begin.
She'll open.
She'll
She's
open.
going to ease them
it
into it before
before a
Crisis
little
AD
comedy.
gets up there.
Well,
Are they
before
doing
comedy.
acoustic?
There's going to be Delilah's doing acoustic.
Dean.
Dean Ford is doing acoustic set
as
too.
far as Crisis AD?
Crisis is hardcore. Fifth Freedom is Southern rock, and they're going to be the second set.
And
pro-
non-acoustic, right?
Right. No, that's all.
Because I know they do both,
Loud.
and that's why I was
They
wondering.
do both, but no, that's going to be loud, and that's where we're going to fill the house and do a lot of screaming and, you know, remember Kathy. I mean, just remember her.
I think we should shoot goals on how many cans that we should have, and just keep asking the public to bring those cans to the door, plus your donation. Donations are always good, so keep them coming. Right?
I know.
Just
That's obvious. So you're going to have a box or stuff there
Several
to collect?
boxes.
Excellent.
several boxes, and
They'll be set up. Everything will be set up, so
So we want to have enough there that you actually have to get a semi to pull it away, right?
it would
we're
be
hoping
nice.
that would be a very sweet thing to do.
Or at least a lot of money that they can go and make purchases.
And that's the other thing
Yeah.
is, you know, hey, you know, it's an easy way for people to accomplish it. Just, you know, hand over the cash if you don't have time to go to the store, and, you know, or if you're like me, the only thing you got in the cabinet is a can of cranberry sauce or something. You can.
Good for Thanksgiving, right?
It is, but I don't know why. It just seems like that's always what you got left in there. You know, the other squash, pumpkin or something in there. But no, that's fabulous. People actually. Go ahead. Sorry.
One of the things that we're going to do the night before is we host our chamber event always in February, and so we're turning our chamber event into bring also a can of food, or 2 or 3 or 20 cans of food. Aren't that expensive, so buy them. And bring them to the door. And so usually our chamber event always houses about, you know, I think 50, 60, 70 people. I think last year we had 60. The year before that we had 80. So 80 people, 80 cans of food, times that by 2, that's a good start. And so we're hoping that everybody who does
Excellent.
attend our chamber event on the 20th of February brings that. And so what I'm asking is, because it is my birthday, is to bring it as a gift, and not for me, but for the foundation. And so I'm sort of sending that plea out So
Excellent.
fill
And
my bag.
I think Fausto had talked also about $5, a $5 bill, and writing their name on the back
Yep.
for whoever.
Exactly.
You know, if they can't bring cans and they want to donate
Nice
$5, and that'll go into the People's Choice Credit Union in their box where
It's
they'll
painless.
tally it.
Exactly.
It's a painless
$5 is, people waste that in 20 seconds and they don't even realize how much $5 can be wasted very quickly. So take that $5 and know you did something good.
That's excellent. And you're going to be capturing it all.
Yes.
That's awesome. Let me ask you something. I don't want to leave you out here because I'm kind of interested in that. What got you into photography?
My aunt was always a photographer growing up. She worked at a bunch of different studios and stuff. Kind of got me hooked. I got my first digital camera when I was like probably 12. And then I just kind of kept upgrading, and I took a vocational class in paths, and just went from there and kind of sparked.
Now, do you have your own camera still?
Yes.
What do you have now?
I have a Canon Rebel TI. Yep, it's very beautiful. I got it
Awesome.
for Christmas last year.
Yeah, those are nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
My dream camera is a 60D. Hoping to get there very soon.
I have a 7D, which is a type of...
Yep. I think they're all good.
Yeah.
It's not the camera, it's the photographer. So.
You know what? I don't know if you remember, but that's something I always tell people in here when they start out, and it's probably the same, especially in your field too, is that, everybody I know can get their hands on a pencil, 6 or 60 or 160 years old if you live that long. But I don't know many authors, and so it's not the tool, it's this, and it's that way with that too. You get that creative eye, and that's awesome.
Yep. I love it.
Now that you're here, though, we're not going to let you go. We're going to have to kind of commandeer you for some stuff around here, too.
I'm
because-
completely okay with that.
Well, that's awesome. Jesus, that's great.
See, doors always open.
That's right.
But
It was always open for
There you go.
her. She's always too busy.
just kind of disappeared a little bit.
Well, that's great. Jeez, I'm glad to see you have her involved in it. And it sounds like you've done the right thing here, too, because you have right across the spectrum. You've
I
got
did.
full, from, what is it, Southern
Southern
rock,
rock,
and
folk,
acoustics and folk and...
Comedy,
Hardcore.
hardcore.
So there's
Everything.
definitely something for everybody. And also Tim and Dennis both a little bit different type of comedy too. So we got kind of something for everybody. And of course, I wasn't sure. I thought this was the case that you were single and we were going to have a raffle for you in there.
There you go.
No, I am single, but that's another show.
We're going to commandeer Estella for a show that we have starting up here pretty soon. She is going to kill me for this, but you know what? Being the host, I get to do it.
We'll have her number up in
Oh my
just a
gosh.
few.
So we're excited, and Fausto and I are going to try to color coordinate.
Okay.
I think so. But yeah, I think it will be fun. I'm excited. I couldn't do it without Fausto.
And I couldn't do it without Estelle.
And
And
let me tell you something. Of course, having known both of you for a while here, I know this is going to be a great event. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. And that's why you were able to pull it together, because you know what you're doing. And
Right.
you obviously got the support of
Two people
so-
that all
And-
they
and-
do is events.
And look for the posters. I mean, the posters are all over Biddeford. They're all over Saco. If you can't make the show, then I'm going to ask that the stores that have the posters drop off cans, drop off some money, tell them it's for the Kathy Duke thing. Hopefully the stores will call us and we'll make sure we come pick them up. It's something that I didn't ask the stores, but why not? And then that gets both Twin Cities involved in everything and sort of kind of
Absolutely.
makes Biddeford Saco the place to be.
And we definitely do that here as well. If people want to drop off anything,
Thank
they
you.
can
That's
certainly
good.
do that. I don't know if you have any pre-made, boxes or anything. Probably not. It's like
Not yet.
No.
Not
Recycle
yet.
one at home. Fill
There
it.
you go.
Fill it up and bring it.
Fill it up and bring it.
that's fabulous.
Small, big, large, medium.
Now, and you said Jody was going to be.
She will be. She'll be speaking on Kathy's behalf, and as will Alan, and then the show will go on. And I know a lot of family, a lot of people that are supporters of Kathy and have loved her will be there just to show their love. It might not be, the acts might not be for everyone, but I think everyone's there to support everyone, no matter what it is that they're there for. If they're going for one group or they're going for the other, they're there to support the whole show and Kathy Duke, her life.
Absolutely.
To
And
honor her.
I would be remiss, I guess, if I didn't mention the fact that wherever Kathy went, her husband was always right there in the van, waiting for her. He took her everywhere. And I don't know that I remember, I don't know if you know his name, but he was obviously instrumental in a lot of this as well. So I'd at least like to say thanks to him. But this is fabulous. It really is. And it's also the type of thing that is great for the community as a whole, because it, as you mentioned, kind of brings the communities and everything together. And geez, what better reason, really? I wish Kathy obviously had been still alive to be able to attend it and everything, because.
But in a way, she is, because the food
She's
pantry
with us.
exists, is there, and
Well, that's
that's
true.
part of it. And I think she would have enjoyed seeing all these people come out for this cause, because it was, it's not really for her, it's for her passion of the pantry. And so I think that that's going to make a big deal, and I think that that's what's going to drive a lot of people to come to the event. The theater is a 500-seat theater,
Right.
and we want it full. So
We want it full, so we not only
Estelle
want
knows
to,
where everybody lives, so if you don't
Right.
fill it, she's,
we don't want to just fill the shelves. We want to fill the house.
'cause
We
that's
want,
money.
yeah.
And I will say that, there's another thing. A couple of people I was talking to this weekend had never been to City Theater. It's a
Right,
great
right.
opportunity to come,
Absolutely.
even just to see the work that was done in there. Just amazing over the years.
And actually, for some
Mayo.
of the acts, that might be the only place they can actually come and see
Oh,
them.
yeah.
Because if they go to their venues, I go a lot of times to my son's. I feel a little old. It's great. I love it, but
Well, and it's a different type
It's a
of
different-
venue anyway. I mean, if you go to the comedy places,
Right.
they're usually smaller. And here's a situation, Renee O'Neill, over the years, and the organization that she was with over there at City Theater, I mean, they just did a fabulous job at redoing and restoring that building. So, hey, even if you don't know any of the acts,
Just
and
come.
maybe if you didn't know Kathy Duke, it's a great program that you have set up here. They could come and you'll learn. You'll learn more about Kathy and also about these acts and about City Theater. What the heck? Come on out and enjoy it.
And it's $5 and a can of food. How much better is that
Oh
on
my
a
God,
night
I
on a
tell
night
ya.
out? So, you can't get any. A movie's what, almost 20 by the time you pay for the movie and the food.
Or if you're like me and go get those red box and don't bring them back, and
Then you're
no.
bought the movie for that. But you get to see 6 acts and $5. That's not bad. And
that's fabulous.
4, 5, 2, 4. No, 6. I got it right. I
Yeah,
can count.
you did good.
Apparently.
I mean, Joyce and Kathy Duke's life. I mean,
And
that.
her
you know,
family is going to be there too. We're going to.
Everyone.
Oh, they are.
So they are going to be there. They're going to be upstairs. We're going to put them in the mezzanine level, I think. I believe.
I think we're going to reserve a few seats, just
Nice.
to be more respectful and
Get an overview of the whole.
right. I think it'll just be perfect. It's fitting. I think Kathy, no one should do what she did and be forgotten. No one.
It's kind of amazing though, because actually there are many people, I don't care what they do, if they're from this area, I've met so many people that know her, and it doesn't matter what line of work they were in or what they ever had to use the food pantry or not, she just was out there. I mean, she did such hard work, and in her a lot of her helpers as well. Ray and his wife, I don't know if I'm trying to think of her name, but you couldn't go into a store. I just wondered if there were like clones of her around or something, because no matter where you went, she was involved up until the end, like you said.
No,
I
right
mean,
to
Well,
the
good
end.
deeds rub off on people. The better you do, it rubs off on somebody else, and
Yeah.
that's sort of how it's sort of all spiraled. And I think
they like pay it forward. or
exactly,
something.
and I think that that's what happened with you
With
and
me.
with this whole event.
I was inspired by Kathy just to do something like this. And I think we were talking about doing a coupon that we were going to insert in the program, pass an act of
just
love forward.
clip it out and
Nice.
write down a good deed, give it to somebody,
something.
and do something nice out there, and do pay it forward, because I think our lives are short, but they're worth something. So I think that if you tell someone, even if it's just that you care about them, love them, respect them, proud, whatever, those things, or if you see somebody on the street, and not everybody's out there begging because it's free. they might need it. So if you have some spare change, give it to them. If they have a can, give it to them. You know, it's just little things like that mean a lot. And so,
And I know the last time that Kathy and Jody were here, which was when she was gravely ill, actually, prior to Thanksgiving holiday. That was one thing that that we kind of talked about, how things have changed a lot when it comes in terms of people needing assistance with food. There are so many people that lost their jobs. I mean, so many things that lost their homes, lost everything because of the economy. That whole thing has changed now, and it's like, I don't care who you are, you could be the person that needs help at
Oh,
some
no.
point. And
I mean, I have to say it to everyone, and I know I even told Jody, and this is why Kathy was so special to me. When I was initially divorced, 2010, I had a very rough winter, and it was a food pantry that I went to provide for my two sons. A lot of people don't realize that, especially since I moved on working with the Chamber of Commerce, that I actually used the services, and throughout 2010, 11, 12, 13, they were a little extra that my boys needed. They were, when I did not get other support, I received it from them. And that's one thing about Kathy. She didn't care who you were. She was compassionate. She was loving. I, was not with the Stone Soup because I am in Saco, and that was a different pantry. But they all work to help. They grovel for people like us that need their services. They don't judge. They know that it could happen to any of us. Anybody. So, I mean, this is something that, to this day, I know. One day we're here, one day we're there. One day we're walking, the next day we have an illness. I mean, life is not...
and it's nice because you have people like Kathy Duke who reach out their hand and you grab it and they help you move forward. And so that's a nice thing. And so this is a nice tribute to sort of kind of keep that momentum going, and
Absolutely.
to letting that pantry know that it meant a lot, and that
Right.
people like Estelle really appreciated that hand up, that that somebody put out there, took it, and this is a
And this
way.
is my pass forward.
Yeah.
I'm there to do what they did for me.
And I know that the other folks at Stone Soup, fabulous people, and I know that they'll continue that work. And so, I mean, it's a sad thing, but it actually that was her, and that was her life. And so it's fabulous that you're doing this just to let, for some of the people who didn't know about her, but also to help the food pantry, obviously. So, and I'm sure this is what were the dates on that again? February
February
21st.
It's the Friday after Valentine's.
So it's
We
coming right up.
almost did it for Valentine's, but because everyone was donating their time, I thought it might be asking too much.
And the doors open at 5, and it's 6 to 9. So
It's a good time.
Yep. Yep.
That's excellent.
So
Well, I
come into
know I'm gonna
Benifit,
be-
have dinner, stop at one of those stores, maybe the restaurants that are there. We can ask them, to take a can of food as part of a payment and lower. I haven't asked, but bring it in. And if you're coming into
Right.
Biddeford, eat locally too. That's always a good thing. That's also paying it forward, because businesses do need your help as well, and that's all part of this whole, fundraiser, is that you pay it forward. So come in, have dinner, go to the show,
right.
And you know what?
bring food.
And you know what, though, talking about even going in town and having dinner, I was reading in, I can't remember which newspaper it was, in the Portland area, they had a big article on how Biddeford was actually up and coming, and actually the place, the hip place. If you go downtown and you try some of these restaurants, it's amazing. Biddeford, Saco, Old Orchard, great places to shop, great places to eat, and so really, that's a fabulous idea.
I'm an outsider. I moved here from Philadelphia, and so I don't have that stigma between both towns. So I don't have that I carry. But it's interesting to watch Biddeford rising. It's almost sort of like what Doug Sanford had placed on his entrance to the mill. I will rise again in Latin, and which is really interesting, because I can see it as an outsider, but I really can see that give Biddeford maybe 5 or 6 more years, and it's going to be a small Portsmouth or bigger. Because it's really almost, it's there, and it's just
definitely,
happening. And I want Saco to be the same thing, to sort of kind of, both of them together could sort of kind of merge that, and having places like this that bring in more people, and people see, you know, with donations and with food pantries and stuff like that, it also makes your cities edgier and more people friendly, and there are people that are more driven to places like that because they want to live in a place that gives back.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. It's actually, hey, when you turn into, what is it, a Lifetime channel or network or any of those places, they always seem to the backdrop, especially in the holidays. I sit and watch them with my wife, and there are always little towns that you actually could pick Saco or Biddeford, either one, and that's what I see when I look at them. And I said, it's amazing. I mean, I'm from Boston, so been here a number of years now, but even still, I agree with you, and it's amazing the opportunity around here, and also it's people like this that actually make it the way it should be.
Our community is tight-knit. Everyone knows everyone, and everyone supports everyone.
Well, that's great. Well, you folks are going to definitely have to come back on and talk about this after the event and let us know how things went, and that there were so many people that you had to call in police, and
I think we,
The food.
the food. Yeah.
So don't forget, donations, very important.
Absolutely. And as I mentioned, people can bring stuff down here. Even we'll put a box here. We had something here for Santa Bill during the winter. Unfortunately, by the time we had it, not a lot of people knew it was here. But now this is going to be on television right away.
Absolutely.
So there's no excuses.
$5,000 to get you a date. $5,000 donation.
Yep.
Absolutely. And she will be the second guest on our new and up-and-coming show here. She's already booked that spot. Mona Jerome, we're going to have on as our first guest
Okay.
on there. Number 2.
Okay, I am number 2. But I'm going to give you a checklist. This is
That
why
brings
I'm
up
single.
Let me tell you something. She came in the door here, and as far as anybody in here thinking we had control, forget it.
She took over the
That's
studio.
I'm just joking. She's fabulous. A good person to have on your team. I wouldn't want her mad at me, that's for sure. Now, she's got 2 big boys. Three.
3.
Boy,
Right.
that's right, so I won't. But anyway, thank you so much for coming on. And young lady, it was very nice seeing you.
Very
I can't
nice.
believe you brought it back in here. Thank you so
I
much.
love her to death.
Fausto, thanks.
Thank you.
And we talked about, we're going to get Fausto on here pretty soon, hopefully, to do a show about weddings and about events planning. And
That would be great.
it really would be, because that's one of those things, as we talked about, really everybody thinks they're prepared for it till it happens. And then it's like, for
I
most
think
of us, it's a nightmare.
this month he's in three magazines.
I'll toot my own horn. 5.
Oh, 5. Oh my gosh.
No, it's been
but
it's been a
GQ
good
doesn't
start.
count.
No, it's been a good start this year. 2014 gave us really good opportunities, because this year one of our weddings got picked for Maine Magazine. Another one was Seacoast. Another one was Real Maine Weddings, and Cater Source, which is an international magazine, and Well Wed, which is New Hampshire and Maine. So
Awesome.
we're really excited about that.
And you're right over the hill, right in Pepperell Square there.
We're part of both towns.
Yeah.
I mean, we're very active in both of our communities, both Biddeford and Saco.
6 locations, actually.
6 exclusive locations that we have throughout Maine.
Do you?
So, yep.
Yes.
Oh, wow, I didn't realize
From
that.
Boothbay to Wells.
Wow.
So very, very
Got
excited
the
about that.
demographics covered there.
We're covered, and we consider ourselves more of a boutique catering company. So when you come into my office, and I'll sit down, and I don't turn anybody away. So we're pretty easy to work with, and I try to make it as friendly as possible, and try to help you with your budget. So.
That's not true, though. I tried to go in one day. You pulled the shade and
We
locked the
did.
door.
We locked the door. Do not disturb on the door. No, but
Said unless you can afford a full pair of pants, stay out.
exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
again, thanks so much. I had a good time, and obviously a fabulous cause. And as Fausto said, God, at least a half a dozen times. $5 and a
Yep.
can of food. Gee, how can you go wrong? and it's excellent job on this, and I look forward to it. And of course, we'll be able to check out all the photography later.
Yes, of course.
Thanks. Well, folks, thanks for tuning in, and hopefully I'll be back for another show. I guess, well, I shouldn't say hopefully. Hopefully somebody else will decide to take over this show. We've been asking on every show, and had a lot of people come in and talk about it and then end up doing other shows, which is great. But this is an important show to kind of highlight people with talent in the community. Obviously, we got a group here. But anyway, before I babble too much and totally mess up the show, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you again next time.